Again, thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Improving Machine Translation with Automatic Language Quality Review. My name is Paulamy, and I'll be moderating this webinar. Just to let you know, we'll be recording this session, and we will be sharing the link to all attendees and everyone who has registered for the webinar. We will open the floor for a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Please feel free to type in your questions in the question box. I have shared one handout with this webinar. It is about content LQR. Please feel free to have a look at them. This webinar will be hosted by Laura, Carlos, and Riccardo, who works in the professional services team. Laura has over 15 years of experience in the localization industry and has worked in a number of different roles during this time. Carlos has a rich academic background in translation studies, and he has worked in the University of Salamanca as a research student. He has extensive project management experience in the localization industry as well. Riccardo has extensive experience in translation technologies, and he works in professional services team to help clients maximize their NT benefits. Now, without further delay, I'll pass on the microphone to Laura, who will introduce you to the latest developments in automated language quality review technology. Thank you. Laura, the floor is all yours.
Thanks, Paulamy. Hi, everyone. Thanks a million for being here with us. As Paulamy was saying, we have here with us Carlos and Riccardo as well. Both of them are members of the professional services in CantanMT, and they really are the super users of our platform. So I really am relying on them to show you what we can do with Cantan LQR. So as Paulamy was saying, I come from the localization industry. So I used to work on the other side, let's say. So I know the pains, language providers sometimes have when evaluating machine translation outputs. So talking about pains, I suppose we can talk about the manual processes that sometimes project managers need to go through to do things like human evaluation. And, normally they are slow and manual, and some of these steps might convey file management and notifications by emails, creation of forms and filling up forms, sending them, to different reviewers, then extracting all the results and creating the reports. So that, I know, it takes time. I suppose in Cantan, what we believe is that the key to productivity, or one of the keys to productivity, is automation. And this is what we've tried to do with Cantan LQR. So what is Cantan LQR? Cantan LQR is a quality review tool dedicated to making human evaluation of machine translation faster, seamless, and more efficient. I also want to add that Cantan LQR has a post-editing interface, okay? The final goal of this tool is to reduce time to engine creation and engine retraining. So just a couple of things about this tool. It's as mentioned, it's a language quality review online tool. It automates the human evaluation workflow. It's designed for project managers and reviewers alike. And some of the properties is that, it runs on industry standards, it contains customizable KPIs, and it provides detailed and visual reports that can be very crucial in this case, and Riccardo will mention it later. They can be, I suppose, seen in real time. So that's a good feature to have. You don't need to, I suppose, to finish the project to see how the project is going on. So the LQR is accessible from the same portal, online portal as Cantan MT. It comes with Cantan MT, and as I was saying, it has real-time visualizations. This is the interface we see here. Those are, this is a slide dedicated to the KPIs. They are based on industry standards, MQM. And we have the overall, let's say, KPIs, adequacy, fluency, and overall quality. And we also have the ones based on error typology, just to go a little bit more granular into the issues found on the empty outputs. And our new addition, which we think it could be very good and very useful for our users, it's the possibility of creating custom KPIs. So if anybody needs to run a project to, and they just, I suppose they need a different parameter than the ones that they are there already in the LQR platform, they can just set it up themselves. It's very easy. And as I mentioned before, the LQR has a post-editing platform or post-editing interface. So as well as evaluating the output and scoring the output, the reviewers, whoever they are, if they are users or if they are linguists, post-editors, they can post-edit the output they see. And this is all great in theory, but I think it's going to be a little bit more interesting if I let Riccardo to set up a project in the actual platform, and then Carlos use it as a reviewer. So, Riccardo, do you want to do that?
Hi, everyone. So let's just dive directly onto the platform and let's see how to create a project and set it up on Content-LQR. So you can see from here, basically there is a dedicated button for Content-LQR on the Content-NT website. This is how the main dashboard looks like. And if we want to create a new project, we click on New, we enter a name for our project. And then what we need to do is basically to select our source and target language, which in this case are going to be English and French, for example. The duration of our project, this can be fine, and finish, so confirm to create the project. Then the next step would be basically to add the parameters we want for our project. So as we can see here, the project is not set up yet. So what we need to do is basically going through these 3 different tabs and add the features we want. The first one would be the key performance indicators, so the KPIs. To add KPIs, we click on Add, and then we have the choice to select compulsory and optional KPIs. We need to select at least one compulsory KPI from the list, and in this case, I'm going to select 3 of them, so adequacy, fluency, and overall quality. Then I can select optional KPIs, and in this case, I have basically 3 left, which are going to be our error typologies. I can select them all just to show you. And in the end, I can basically check and confirm to add the KPIs. So in this step now, I'm shown all the KPIs I've selected, the kind of KPI, and if they are compulsory or optional. Then I can switch to the Reviewers tab, and I can add reviewer to my project. So to add reviewers, I click on Add, and I can basically select a reviewer from my list, or I can also enter a new reviewer. So in this case, it's going to be Carlos. I can add the reviewer like that, and I will be shown again a list of my reviewers.
Riccardo, just to, I suppose, to stress, obviously in this, for the purpose of this demo, we are just going to choose one reviewer, but if the requirements were to have more, obviously there's no problem with that. I mean, the platform will support more reviewers.
Exactly, yes. Basically, during the review process, each reviewer will be assigned a number of segments that will be actually chosen randomly from the test set. The final tab that we need to have a look at is obviously the test data. So after adding the reviewers, we need to add the test data we want, and in this case, we just click on add, and we choose our source segments, which are going to be these ones, for example, in English. Click on next, select the target language, the target language segments, and then click on next. And then basically here, this is very important. We need to check basically that we have the same number of segments for source and target, because obviously we are considering aligned segments. So after we check that, we click on add, and this is basically the last step of setting up a project. So we need to confirm that, and after that, if we go back to the main dashboard, we will see that the status of the project has changed into running. So we'll see this spinning circle. Now I will pass the ball on to my colleague Carlos, that will show you what happens from a reviewer's point of view.
So basically, when Ricardo finishes the project, an automatic notification goes into Carlos' email. So the only thing that Carlos needs to do is to go into the email and click on a link that will be there, and that will send him or will connect him with the platform, with the reviewers platform. Yeah.
Thank you, Laura and Ricardo. Hello, everybody. Once I receive the email, I can go to the platform here, and I can connect with my credentials. So once I log in, I will access here my page of Kant and LQR, when I can see both all the projects that I have. For example, this one is already finished, and this is the one that Ricardo has just created and assigned to me. As you can see, I cannot do anything until I accept this project, and I do so by clicking the only button that it's available to me right now, which is this one. So once I click that, the project has been accepted, so I can start editing and going and checking the project itself. So to start editing, now I can go to this icon, to this pen icon, so I can start reviewing the segments one by one. I click here and I access here. Here's the post-editing environment, and here we can see the segment that I have to post-edit, which would be this one here, the central one, and we have the previous and the later segments, the one that is coming afterwards. So we can get some context just to translate that. So here, when I'm going to just post-edit a couple of segments, so you can see what I would be doing and the tools that I can make advantage of. For example, for this one, see that we have a couple of spaces here that I want to delete. I delete these. I see that government has not been translated, so I can just introduce the translation there, gouvernement, and I can start rating it. I have here the KPIs that Ricardo has set up for the project, and I see that the compulsory are marked with a wildcard here, as you can see, all these three, and then these three here are the optionals. So for that, I can just rate these segment as it is, and introduce anything that I can consider important for my project manager. So we have the terminology issue with the government, and here I have the punctuation for the apostrophe, and and spacing, because the spaces were introduced there. What I'm going to tell now here is that gouvernement or government should be introduced in the terminology. It's something that I can just recognize as not as the engine cannot translate or doesn't know how to translate. So these terms should be added to the terminology, to the glossary. So I'm going to say that log G issue, and I'm going to include government to go. No, that's it. So that's included there. So he can go and check that. Once I have finished and I'm happy with this, I can click next. As you can see here, there's another bar. Before clicking next, there's another bar here, which is counting the time that I'm investing in post-editing these segment. So you can see here, I'm now in 2 minutes and 32 seconds. So I click next, and I pass into the next one. This one here, we can see other options. As we can see, this is the last segment. There's no more context after that. So this is the last segment of the document or the test sets. So what I'm going to do is just change that, because this is a character corruption issue. So what I would need would be that symbol here. I will be copying and substituting here and there. As I can see that this is a recurrent issue, what I'm going to do is just write a comment here to indicate that a post edit should be suggested. So I'm going to suggest suggested specs. Yeah.
Do you mean an automatic post edit?
Yeah,
yes.
An automatic post edit that we can create later on. So I'm going to copy this button that is here, this one, to this one over that I just that one, and now I can just post edit this. I will post edit that. That's it, and I will write that. So I can go and change that. Style would be okay. Wrong spelling. The syntax maybe no punctuation, and that would do. That would be it. Then we click next, and we see what's next. As you can see here, we have the same issue with the corrupted E character. So we'll solve that quickly and pass on to the next one. See if I can. There we are. And yeah, I can leave it there to there. And wrong spelling. And I will pass it on to the next one. And this one, we can check that. We see here that we have the government issue again, so I can just post edit this one, and we have the spacing that we have seen already. So these are things that after that should be corrected with the automatic post edits that will be introduced later on. So it's something that we can just indicate in the comment. I am not going to write it again because I did it already, but there they are. In the case that we would like to change completely the segment, if we need just to change the structure or just do a bit deeper post editing, what I can do is just select it all and I can just delete it. So you can delete it, you can write it again if you need to write, and just leave it as there, or just copy that and introduce a better option. So you have the option just to edit it directly here.
So basically, by using this platform, you can do two things. One is scoring, and the other one is post-editing what is incorrect, let's say. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
For future use, both of them. Yeah.
Yeah. There we are. So if I want to go on post-editing, I can click next and go on to the next segment. But I want to stop it now, so we can stop at any time that we want and retake it later. So to stop it, to stop the LQR right now, for me, I can click finish, and it will be finished for now. As you will see, we have only post-edited or just checked 36% of the project, so I can go on and at any time just by clicking again on the pen icon. Or if I want to check the stats, I can click here to check the project overview. This is the segments that I have post-edited, and they are displayed here. In case I need to change anything of them, I can always come here and click on this icon to edit any of the segments. So this is my part. I will pass it on back to Riccardo, so he will tell you about the project management side.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Carlos.
So basically, the last part regards how to analyze a project on the project manager side. So for the sake of this webinar, I'm just going to show you how a completed project looks like. So if you go back to the project manager dashboard, then you have this icon over here, check project summary. If you click on that, you will be given basically an overview of the whole project, and then different tabs displaying details about each KPI that you've chosen. So in the overall, in the overview of the project, you will be seeing basically all the general stats, so the features of the project, and then for each of the KPI, you will see a general breakdown and an average in the case of adequacy, fluency, and overall quality. Or in the case of error typologies, you will be given this percentage, which is a percentage of segments that do not contain any error. So you will be immediately shown basically the number of good segments that you have in your project. Then obviously, if you want to go into detail, you just scroll on into the different tabs, and you can see basically for each segment what the breakdown is and what the scores are. In this case, for error typologies, you can have a breakdown of the different errors, so how many segments contain a specific kind of error, and there you can see the list of the segments as well. The last two things I want to show you are, the first one is the test data tab that contains basically all our segments, the source segments, and the comments that the reviewers have written for each of the segments, together with the scores. And if you want more details, so if you want a complete overview of all the projects, then you can go back to the overview tab, and you can download a summary report in Excel. So I'm just going to open that quickly to show you, and basically here you will have all the segments with the source, the target, and the post-edited translation, all the comments, and then other information such as time, scores, and even a kind of description of each of the KPIs that you have chosen.
So, Riccardo, with these comments that Carlos has introduced here, is there anything we can do, I suppose, to, is there any action we can take to implement, or what would we do with this now?
Yeah, so actually, as you said before, Laura, this tool has a double function. One is to score, to actually have a review of the quality, and the other one is to post-edit. So this is very useful data that we have now once the reviewers have post-edited the translation. So we can basically use these segments to retrain the engine. So we can create a bilingual file, and then we can upload that file into our own training data to improve our engine. And the other thing we can do is having an actual look at the comments to see what the feedback is. So for example, here we can notice that there are issues related to repetitive errors, such as spacing or characters. So what we can do is basically we can write some PEX rules, and we can upload the PEX rules as a single file in our client's data. Yeah, so I believe basically we can use a lot of this feedback in a very useful way, and we can implement it back into the engine.
We could do something about the terminology change as well, I assume, yeah?
Yeah, so for terminology, for example, right now, I mean, this is another project, so I don't see what Carlos has written before, but we remember he wrote something about gouvernement. So we can basically implement a glossary if we want. So we only need to enter our terms as source and target into a TBX or into an Excel file, and then we can upload the glossary either in our training data or in our client's data as runtime glossary.
So I think that's pretty much it, isn't it? Polumi, back to you, I suppose. Let me just come back to the presentation for a second.
Thank you so much.
What do we have here? Sorry, bear with us for a second. So basically, yeah, this is just a graphic representation of what Ricardo was talking about, you know, with the implementations that we can do in our engines. And questions?
Very good. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you, Carlos. This was really great. And we'll take any questions. Please feel free to write your question on the question panel. Thank you so much. We have the first question. Actually, probably the project manager can say this. What's the rationale behind choosing the segments randomly?
Yeah, so basically, as I said before, if there is only one reviewer, that's very easy. I mean, all the segments will be assigned to that reviewer to review. However, if there is more than one reviewer, what happens is that the segments will be split evenly between the reviewers, and each reviewer will be assigned with a number of segments randomly. Why randomly? Just because from a statistical point of view, this will yield to better results, in the sense that if it wasn't this way, so if, for example, one reviewer would receive the first half of the segments and the other reviewer would receive the second half, then there wouldn't be an even distribution of the segments, especially because the first half could be different from a content point of view or from even a style point of view. So it's better if basically these segments are mixed up, and so if they're chosen randomly. So in this case, we assure a better quality, also less biased results in the end.
All right, that's very nice. Thank you, Ricardo. The next question is about KPIs. They're asking how, when you create a KPI, can you define the values and the types of KPI? Laura, would you like to go for this?
So yes, when one creates their own KPI, there's many options to go for in the system. For instance, as we have seen, you can create subcategories if you want to, or you can do a star, let's say, option, as we call it, which is 1 to 5, etc. I think we have like 6 different options, to be honest. So basically, it can be just as comprehensive as any of our KPIs.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Laura. And I suppose we might have the time to have one last question. All right. The next question is, how will the PM see a reviewer's progress? So, and how does that help, if you want to talk about that?
Well, Ricardo is the one who knows better, because he sets up projects all the time, but there is basically there is an overview in the overview project management interface. Basically there is a, can we go and see it? Just give us a second. Sorry, yeah. It's easier to see it than to
we come here
than to explain it.
Yeah, let me see if we go back here. There you go.
Yeah. So basically, we see the progress here, and we see already we see the result here. Okay. So let's think I suppose let's set up a practical example, which is in some cases a number of iterations are needed to create a good engine. Let's say. So let's say we are in the 3rd iteration, and we are pretty sure that the quality is going to be quite good. But we want to still have somewhat a little bit of a review. If the project manager, wishes to do so, they can go and check on the quality stats, say halfway through the project, and if they see that they are good enough, what they can do is, I think they can pause the project here in this button and just basically notify the reviewers that the project has been finished at that moment. So yes, that's something that it can be done.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks, Laura. That's actually a great functionality. Thank you so much. And I see we have quite a few questions coming in, but I'm afraid we are running out of time today. We will get back to your questions. We will send you the recording anyway. And if you have any questions, and if you would like to have a one-to-one demo, please mail us at info@contentmt.com. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thanks to the presenters and speakers again, and have a good evening. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.